It's over 24 hours since the Brazilian Grand Prix finished, and I still can't believe what I witnessed yesterday. It was by far one of the best races in the V6 era so far. I think we've got to start at the front. Max Verstappen was outstanding all weekend. As I said in the qualifying video, he topped all three segments of qualifying and deservedly took pole position. The race wasn't easy for him, of course. Lewis Hamilton got past Sebastian Vettel at the start and pressurised the Dutchman throughout the race. Mercedes performing the undercut with Hamilton for the first stops could have turned the race in their favour, but Verstappen did a brilliant outlap, and with Hamilton being held up by Leclerc in the middle sector, it allowed Verstappen to get close to Hamilton on the start-finish straight and repass him immediately. He then quickly cleared Albon and pulled an important gap on Hamilton. On the medium tyre, it looked like Hamilton maybe had a bit of a pace advantage, but with the safety car for Bottas' retirement, the race was thrown up in the air. Crucially though, Red Bull made the right call and pitted Verstappen to switch him to softs. It allowed him to attack Hamilton immediately on the restart and took the lead, and from there on in, he controlled the race at the front beautifully as the carnage unfolded behind him. It was a brilliant drive from Verstappen and redemption after last year's heartbreaking defeat when he had that infamous collision with Esteban Ocon. Verstappen's victory yesterday was the 8th of his career. He's yet to really have a consistent race-winning car, which just shows how good he is. When he does potentially get a race-winning car on a regular basis, watch out, because he could dominate the sport like Hamilton and Schumacher have in this century so far. Behind Verstappen, it all kicked off in the last 10 laps or so. It started with the Ferraris colliding on lap 66, Vettel and Leclerc battling for 4th place and touching. It was small contact, it has to be said, but ultimately it ended both of their races. And Matteo Binotto's got a job in his hands to manage these two competitive, fierce drivers. And of course, the collision between them gifted Max 3rd in the championship, and with a solid lead going into Abu Dhabi, the Red Bull driver is more than likely to keep that position as long as he doesn't get involved in an incident at the final race of the season. The man who benefited most from the Hamilton-Albon collision and the contact between the Ferraris was Pierre Gasly. The Frenchman was absolutely outstanding throughout the race meeting in Interlagos. He was comfortably enough holding the lead of the best of the rest competition for most of the Grand Prix until all the drama in front unfolded. Gasly has been absolutely outstanding since he returned to Toro Rosso and showing his best form, and the podium yesterday was well deserved after some fantastic drives for the Italian team since his demotion after the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's Toro Rosso's second podium in 2019 and only the third they've had in their history in Formula One. It was also a crucial podium in the battle with Racing Point in the Constructors' Championship. Barring another crazy race in Abu Dhabi and Racing Point getting a podium, Toro Rosso should finish 6th in the Constructors' Championship this year. Wasn't it wonderful to see McLaren score their first podium since the 2014 Australian Grand Prix yesterday, thanks to Carlos Sainz? Unfortunately, he didn't actually get to stand on the podium as Hamilton hadn't received his penalty by the time the podium procedure had started. But he did stand on the rostrum with all his McLaren team a couple of hours after the race, and that was nice to see. It really was a team effort from McLaren this year to gain a lot of places in the Constructors' Championship and show good speed throughout the year. After a turbulent few years with Honda and a difficult 2018, McLaren really needed this good year and strong year to become competitive again, and they've done that handsomely. P4 in the Constructors' Championship is a good effort, and well done to everyone at Woking. Sainz's drive yesterday was, like most of his season, very, very impressive. From the back of the grid, Sainz made good progress in the early stages of the race. He climbed up to 13 by lap 8, and then McLaren decided to go for a one-stop with him, and it turned out most of the other midfield runners were on a two-stop strategy, and it worked a treat for a driver and team. His one stop pretty much jumped him to the top of the midfield. The only guy who stayed in front of him was Gasly. Sainz did a great job to hold off Raikkonen before the safety cars and then after them. He looked set for a P8 finish until all the drama kicked off in front. Bottas' engine failure, the Ferraris crashing, and then the collision between Hamilton and Albon meant he crossed the line in P4. Hamilton's penalty ultimately moved him up to P3 for his first podium in Formula 1. After driving so well this year, he really deserves it. Kimi Raikkonen showed his class and experience by finishing 4th for Alfa Romeo, just in front of young teammate Antonio Giovinazzi. The Italian has been outstanding since the summer break and deserves that top 5 finish he got yesterday. Alfa Romeo really needed this result after having a really tough few races since the summer break. Daniel Ricciardo recovered to 6th after his early race collision with Kevin Magnussen. It was a quiet drive from the Australian after that, but he did well to get back in the points. Hamilton dropped to 7th after his post-race penalty. Did he deserve a penalty? Well, that's up for debate. It's very much a personal opinion at the end of the day. The main issue is Albon didn't cover Hamilton. He was trying to take the racing line with Hamilton pretty close to the inside of him, and they made contact. It cost Albon a podium, and Hamilton obviously dropped 4 places from his original finishing position. It's a shame because Hamilton is not a dirty racer and Albon was heading for his first podium, but that's racing sometimes. Sergio Perez continues to outperform his car with another points finish on a difficult weekend for Racing Point. His performances this season have once again been exceptional on a Sunday. Lando Norris had a pretty quiet race and strategy didn't really go his way, and Danny Kvyat recovered from a terrible qualifying to finish 10th. Who do you think was driver of the day, and do you think it was a classic race? Let me know below in the comments. For now, it's goodbye from me.